Hi everybody, welcome to the Health How-To channel where we talk about some great life hacks and easy tips to achieve better health. In this video, we're talking about how to get rid of your chronic inflammation. More specifically, we're going to target 8 foods to avoid and what to eat as a substitution. Please subscribe and share your best tips that you have found to be super helpful for reducing persistent inflammation in the comments section below. Pressing the like button will also help get the information in this video to others as well. If you have someone in your life who you want to help, please share this video with them too. What exactly is inflammation? Well, inflammation refers to the process where our white blood cells protect against harmful things like bacteria and viruses. It can also occur when there is an injury like a cut on the body or damage of the soft tissues inside the body such as a shoulder rotator cuff tendonitis. Inflammation is a natural, healthy process that is good when the body is working as it should. But sometimes our immune system goes out of whack and the body starts attacking itself when the initial bacteria or viruses have become eradicated or the damage is no longer present. Then we can get long-term or chronic inflammation that can last for months or years. Chronic inflammation can affect all of our body's systems and organs. Examples of persistent inflammatory conditions are diabetes, heart disease, cancer, arthritis, Alzheimer's disease, and fibromyalgia. Studies have shown that one of the most important reasons for chronic inflammation is from the food we eat or don't eat. What food should we avoid to reduce our inflammation? The short answer is basically any food that is manufactured to taste irresistible or that triggers something inside you to gorge with wild abandon. But here's a more specific list of 8 foods to avoid, or at least eat in moderation. Rather than eliminate everything all at once, it can be less overwhelming to take out one food group at a time. Start with the foods that you'll miss the least. Try abstaining for 6 to 8 weeks. During that time, ask yourself, if your stomach feels better, are you breathing better? Do you feel less bloated? Does your pain seem better after eliminating certain foods for a few weeks? Also, take note of your mood, concentration level, energy level, and hunger. Keep in mind that the first week will probably be the hardest when you're trying to cut out a favorite food, and that you'll likely have fun side effects like cravings, crankiness, or headaches. And finally, remember that we're all different. Foods that affect your aunt or neighbor or friend of a friend may not be a problem for you, and vice versa. That's why we need to go through a little systematic trial and error to see what we are sensitive to. So here is a list of 8 foods to avoid if you want to reduce your level of inflammation. Number 1. Milk. Study results of whether or not milk and dairy products are inflammatory are a little mixed. On one hand, there can be an excessive amount of harmful saturated fat, hormones, and antibiotics. On the other hand, dairy products like yogurt can contain healthy probiotics, calcium, and added vitamin D. Also, after a trial and elimination period, you might realize that your stomach is actually sensitive to the lactose in dairy. Luckily, there are plenty of plant-based options on the market now for dairy substitutions like soy, oat, and almond milk, or nut-based cheeses. It's still important to look at the label though and try to stick with brands that specify minimal processing, preservatives, flavorings, and added sugar. And of course, it's best to stay away from sugary dairy desserts like ice cream, whipped cream, condensed milk, and yogurt with sugar added. Now, you know what this is leading to, our second inflammation-causing food group that is problematic for a lot of people. Number 2, sugar. We all know that we should cut sugary desserts like cookies, candy, and cake. We know to cut down on pop and to stop dousing our coffees with table sugar. But we need to also watch out for those other drinks that have that health halo effect. The health halo effect refers to foods or drinks that are marketed as healthy, and so we tend to eat more or ignore reading the nutrition label. Good examples of so-called healthy foods that may not be so healthy are green smoothies and juices, plant-based meat, granola bars or trail mix, and sweetened yogurt. Watch our videos on which healthy foods to avoid. So how much is too much sugar? It's hard to say because refined sugar is not an essential nutrient, meaning that we don't need any added sugar for our body to function. Our body naturally breaks down food that we eat into carbohydrates, protein, and fat and takes what it needs from that. But because sugar tastes so good and it's pretty hard to avoid completely, according to the American Heart Association, men should have no more than 9 added teaspoons of sugar, or 36 grams, and women should have no more than 6 added teaspoons of sugar, or 25 grams. This includes so-called natural sugars like honey, agave, and maple syrup. Once again, so-called sugar addiction can vary from person to person. Some people don't have a sweet tooth, and for other people, like myself, one taste of sugar can send us into an uncontrolled feeding frenzy. If you have a major sweet tooth, watch our video on how to cut down on sugar when you really don't want to. Number 3, potatoes and other nightshade vegetables. Popular nightshade vegetables include tomatoes, peppers, potatoes, and eggplants. Why are they called nightshade? It's not totally clear, but it could refer to how these plants may flower in the night and shade. They contain alkaloid compounds that can negatively affect the body and contribute to arthritis flare-ups. But they also have very nutritious vitamins too. Once again, try to eliminate them and see if it changes any of your symptoms. You can also try just eating the flesh and removing the seeds. Also, if you want to maximize the nutritional component, be sure to cook your tomatoes to better absorb its lycopene and avoid green tomatoes and green potatoes. Number 4, fried foods. Our beloved deep fried foods are a uniquely human-made form of delicious torture. Foods like French fries, chicken nuggets, donuts, and chips just can't quite be found in nature. Crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. It's just not fair that something so tempting can trigger inflammation. Fried foods are commonly fried in vegetable oils like soybean, canola, and corn oil, which contain high amounts of the highly inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. Also, fast food restaurants tend to reuse the same oil over and over again, which creates cancer-causing free radicals. One way to substitute oil-fried foods is to use an air fryer. Air frying helps to drastically cut down the amount of oil used to 1 teaspoon or so. Does it taste exactly the same as deep frying? Well, food isn't quite as crunchy, but it does help if you don't crowd the food in the basket to encourage even browning and crispness. Number 5, artificial trans fats like margarine or shortening. Cheap trans fats are mostly found in highly processed foods like factory-made cookies, cakes, and pies, frozen pizza, non-dairy creamer, and microwave popcorn. They're associated with chronic inflammation, heart disease, and diabetes. The good news is that many countries have started to ban them, and you can find fresher substitute foods more easily. Number 6, refined carbohydrates. Refined carbs are highly processed simple carbs that tend to come in a package. Refined carbs are stripped of their fibrous outer shell. Pretty much anything made from flour or rice. The most common examples are bread, bagels, pitas, tortillas, pasta, crackers, rice cakes, sugary cereals, and pastries. Better substitutions are gluten-free carb-type treats that are made with nut flours. You can also try Ezekiel bread, which does not contain flour, but rather is made with more nutritious sprouted grains. Number 7, too much alcohol. Many studies have shown that a small intake of red wine can be beneficial for our hearts. What's considered moderate intake? No more than 2 standard drinks for men and 1 standard drink for women per day. More alcohol than that can lead to elevated signs of inflammation in our blood. A weaning off substitution that you can try is non-alcoholic drinks. It's kind of like drinking decaffeinated coffee. That's all I'll say about that. Number 8, processed meats. Processed meat is generally preserved in salt, sugar, and full of umami flavor. These meats are generally cooked under high heat and have added nitrates and other preservatives that contribute to chronic inflammation. They also increase your risk for cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. Research studies have shown that processed meats like bacon, ham, pepperoni, hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats contain more advanced glycation end products, otherwise known appropriately as AGEs. Now, I know that the cost of fresh meat has gone through the roof recently, but it's worth it to substitute smaller quantities of high-quality, fresh, organic, or grass-fed meat whenever your budget allows. You can also check out our video of the best sources of plant-based protein. If you have some great health tips that helped you to reduce chronic inflammation, I'd really appreciate it if you could share them down below in the comment section so that we can all benefit in our personal journey to better health. Please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any health how-to videos where we talk about easy ways to improve your health. Also, please press that like button because it can really help get this video to those that need it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.